Hey guys, I got a little gig and I was a little bit concerned. Y'all know I wear my mask to jobs and sometimes I get a little bit of, get looks. And the one I'm going to is going to be a long-term job, and they actually asked specifically for me to have a mask, and I'm thinking they mean one of them like cotton, jigs. Y'all know I got whatever it is in here. You know it's not cotton. Anyway, listen to it's a show called Legalized Freedom. And I thought it was kind of like a white supremacist show. I did it one time. I find myself listening to more podcasts. I listen to the Canadian broadcast, CBC, once in a while. I like them a lot. Yeah. I listen to, I used to listen to Citations Needed, Eyes Left. Yeah, I used to watch. I need to stop listening again. I just don't have enough room on all my devices for SoundCloud and other stuff. I'm getting a new tablet for that specifically, for those type of apps. I think Tara Smiley and Cornel West had a show that they're done with. I want to sit down and listen to all of them. There's another guy I like. His name escapes me now, but he has a show too. That I listen to sometimes. But Legalized Freedom's been hitting some pretty good ones lately. And they had James Kunstler on there. If you're not familiar with him, he wrote a couple of books, but the one I read was A Long Emergency. Really, really, really great stuff. Oh, the Chauncey DeVega show. Chauncey DeVega, yeah. That's another great podcast. But I don't, I need to get better on that. You'd think me driving trucks all this time, I would have been listening to podcasts, but I wasn't. I was listening to actual shows and music. Lately, I've listened to less music lately. I don't know if it's because we're dealing with the pandemic, and inside myself, I know we're in a state of emergency, so I'm not really like, I'm always learning something. I'm not saying that to be like conspiracy theories. No, I'm learning something new. Or there's that UVC box I have. I got a UVC light. I'm going to put in my little Berkey. Learning about that bleach and water thing I made. My plants. How long this stuff stays on cardboard and things like that. How long, what to do. All that kind of stuff. I'm constantly learning. So I'm not really in the house, into that now as much as I used to. James Kessler had I think he wrote another book called Too Much Magic or something, which is kind of an afterword to The Long Emergency, which was like talking about how things didn't work out. What Long Emergency is talking about is, in essence, he believes that, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Legalized Freedom, I thought it was a white supremacist show, but it's a libertarian show. Like they get into the lockdowns, but it reminds me of the younger me. Like listening to that reminds me of how I was in 2011 when I had all that money, and it makes me think about how how I went along with Ron Paul. At one time, I would have went to one of his rallies if I could. If I couldn't, at one time, I would have put money into his election. Like I got books about Ron Paul in my storage unit. I think I got some in here. I agree with much of it in his book. I agree with that stuff. Those libertarians, they believe in let's stop the endless wars. Let's stop spending so much fucking money on military. Let's stop going around the world engaging in these misadventures. Let's stop assassination and training terrorism and funding terrorism. Let's stop that shit. Stop the war on drugs. Stop militarizing the police. All these new laws they're making, like if you're stopped, so we get a ticket. If you're here, if you're there, you get a ticket. All that. That's the libertarianism that I believed in, and I still agree with much of that. I do. You talk about And it goes into the nanny state, which I at one time agreed with, but I realize now you got a whole level of crime and violence that you can't do that, or people will run all over you. So I see it two different ways now. Taking criminal justice in college, I look at it differently. They go a little bit further than Ron Paul. Maybe Ron Paul believes it, but I never heard him say this. They believe climate change is a reality. They recognize peak whale has already happened, which means every year we produce less oil. That does not mean anything right now to you or me, but it's kind of like an athlete recognizing that like his best years. Like imagine if you had a way to analyze athletes, like the Nazis, they were able to like analyze people. Imagine you could analyze an athlete and say like your best year will be when you're 33 years old, and every year after that it'll be in decline. Even if you're like in the gym every goddamn day, you don't even look at a Dunkin' Donuts. You don't drink no alcohol, no promiscuous sex. You're in bed by 8, you're up by 6. Like even if you do that, you still, after 33, your body will go down. That's what peak oil represents. We can see that means the best years are behind us. They believe that, James Kunstler believes that we're probably going to not be able to have cheap energy. You know, where everybody can just buy a car or drive. You won't be able to do that. He believes that suburbia being put out so far will hurt us because people won't be able to get to where we need to go to compared to like Europe, where they have subway systems, and some areas that we have it that doesn't really work properly, but they have that in Europe and they can depend on it. They believe he doesn't really get into climate change in it though, which I think he's a little bit more realistic on the whole green energy thing. That's not. I respect that. I respect his realism, his lack of I don't know. He's refusing to believe in this wonderland that we're gonna just do this and things will get better. Like no, it's not gonna happen. No. Anyway, Jim Constant was talking about. I think in one of his new books, I need to look it up. He was talking about how this techno-narcissism. That's paraphrasing. No, that's taken from what the guy said word for word. Techno-narcissism of putting 1 million people on the moon by 2050 and robots taking over and all that. And he mentioned how to him that's a sort of dark mischief. And I agree with him. You know, transhumanism and putting robots into the human body. I guess my future now is kind of like that movie Repo Man, where everybody's sick in the future and everything's crumbling. That's the future I see. Like, I don't see a Journeyman Project type future. Sorry. Or I see an X events. If we get more coronavirus type, that could continue. No telling. But if things do get back to somewhat of a normal, I see a Repo Man type future. Except take out the organs part of it. Just like the crumbling nature, more police, everybody's being, looked at, the implements they had in that movie. That's the future I see. And that's not really better for us. It's just a way for the top to keep control on the lesser masses, which we want to do anyway. I believe that's what that is. That's what that is right there. Transhumanism and robotics. I mean, if we lived in a benevolent society where like people cared about people and we actually were going to be progressive, it'd be a different discussion. But in my mind, if you had robots taking over, the rich would use it like in Elysium. It'd be like Elysium in essence. That's what that would be like. It's like Elysium, but it wouldn't be like a better world, a better reality. No, not at all. I don't see that. Not at all. Not at all. And that's a shame. I'm not happy to say that. It's a shame. It's a real shame right there. What I just said. It really is. But it's reality. Let me see what I was going to say next. That's why, I don't really support trans. I'm not one of these guys talking about it's the mark of the beast and all that. Because I believe those guys look for the end of the world and everything. Like I said this before, everything is not the end of the world. Sometimes we need new solutions for problems that we don't have solution for yet. We have to have measures to mitigate damages, climate change and things like that. These people don't believe in climate change anyway. But I agree with them. I don't, and it's I've said this many times before that I don't look at the robots in Walmart and shit and feel fear because I deal with idiots all the time. Yeah, I deal with idiots out here that can't read, they can't write. And I deal with that. That's a reality. So out of that, me being on the road and dealing with idiots, it's kind of like I'd rather deal with a machine because, like when I'm gonna give you an example I'm talking about. I buy water from Walmart. You go to a lot of Walmarts, they have no idea what a water machine is. Or color it. They have no idea. No one in there knows what it is. I mean, they work in the store and they have no idea about it. And it'll be like in the front. That's what gets me. Like the machine will be in the front, and they're like, "Excuse me." I'm like, "Water machine." I mean, I deal with you deal with that idiocy long enough, and it's like, fuck it, bring the robots. Like I'd rather deal with a robot because I know what I'm getting. I'm not getting some idiot that's got something wrong with them. You've got you got a really dumbed down population out here. And I think coronavirus kind of showed me that. Like, I don't look at it like other people do, that people's lives are in danger. I look at it more like people are fucking stupid. And their stupidity makes it more likely for them to get sick and for me to get sick. Or for them to get sick, then it makes it harder for me to do what I got to do because they shut down the Walmart. Or they shut down. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying here? They're so fucking stupid. Like, I was in that store getting that SIM card for this phone. And the dude's like, got money in bands, and the dude's like, we don't take cash, and the guy's like, why not? Because everything's going on. The guy's like, what's going on? Like they're that fucking Mexicans are that fucking stupid. Not all of them, but I mean, you're dealing with people. I don't know what to tell you. And these hood rats too. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I look and see the posts, and I halfway understand. I don't agree with all, but I understand. Like, you're dealing with some dumbed down, ignorant, inferior fucking mouth breathers. Straight up. Just fucking, how stupid can you be? So I don't really feel bad for them losing jobs. I mean, I don't think trucks will be taken over in my lifetime because maybe over the road. It's kind of like when I was doing that mail stuff and they were going to stop doing it across the country. They were going to do relays. I see something like that because they probably lose money with that over the road technically. So I see those companies maybe using drivers for like close in. I don't think you're going to have local drivers go out, like no more use for them in probably 50 years, 60 years, maybe longer than that. That's something I see well into the future. They may change the type of truck, but local drivers, people that unload trucks, propane, gas haulers, hazmat, that's not. But then at the same time, these guys will be like, oh, yo, they're going to put a robot, somebody's going to hack it, they're going to send it into the White House. Listen, there's a lot of loads that are not hazmat. I know what you're doing. I know what white men do. They always take the most extreme example and use it to make you look crazy. You can't do that. It's like when you don't like Trump and they say, well, you mad because Hillary didn't get elected. I didn't vote for Hillary. And I didn't vote for Obama the second time. So try again. That's what they do. They always they have to always go to a prepackaged tropism. They have to go to some sort of a throwaway line. Ah, you're a communist. You're a faggot. Yeah, you're a communist. No, you're Marxist. No. I don't see that the trucks that are pulling paper towels, trucks that are pulling paper rolls, they could put robots on that. If they wanted to, they could do that. Moving on. But I agree with them. I leave it there. I agree with them on that. That it's just that you look at everything we've seen from the bailouts in 08 to the bailouts just did here, and now them giving people $1,200, expecting them that to last for 10 weeks, or 6 weeks, or 12 weeks. I don't remember. It's just like you're dealing with people who are out of touch with reality and with working class. It's like when Trump shut the government down, he was telling folks to get loans. Everybody can't get loans. I mean, it's just, you're dealing with a level of the conservative right that is completely out of touch with reality. I mean, completely out of touch with reality, and I don't really know. I don't even know where to start with that. I don't. So what I just said in mind, I have no reason to believe robots would better our lives. Maybe in the short term it would, but long term it would just be something to help the billionaires. Period. I don't think we have benevolent people in Washington. And that's the point I want to make. If you hear nothing else I say, that's the point I want to make. If I die today, if I never make another video, that's my point. Is that even if they are able to mitigate some of climate change, or if they are able to mitigate coronavirus before long we get back to work, I just no longer believe that the billionaires, that the very rich have benevolent ideas about the future of America. Full stop. That's why I want to go with. That's my point there. Not saying they want to kill us off, they're malevolent, but it's just that coronavirus showed me like nobody cares about the working class. Nobody. Fuck the working class. You're an essential worker and you go to work with no hand sanitizer, no mask. I mean, what is that? You're basically a wage slave. And they're essentially telling you, get your ass in there. If you don't work, capitalism will collapse. But we're not going to put anything up here to better your life or to help you in any kind of a way. What kind of bullshit is that? What kind of bullshit is that? That's the capitalism I know. So so that being in that put in mind that me saying that, because these billionaires, they could have put money into this coronavirus to save a lot of people. Amazon, they could have put in paid sick leave. I mean, these guys, that's why we have unions. I think coronavirus also reminded me of that. That the rich aren't like benevolent benefactors. They're more like that guy on The Simpsons. Like that to me is Jeff Bezos. That at the end of the day, that's them. They have no thought about the public well-being or the public good. They have no thought about that. None whatsoever. And all the price gouging and Trump bringing stuff in to auction it, and then a bunch of it goes back overseas. I just realized that with the rich, that this is what you got, baby. It's kind of like you marry somebody and the honeymoon's over with. Maybe it's a year later. You start to see they drink and they smoke and they nasty. They do so. It's just like, yo, this is what you got. Like, yo, I'm sorry, it ain't perfect. That's what coronavirus was for me. Like, yo, this is real. And no one's coming to save us, the working class. No one's coming to save us. They're going to just keep taking advantage of us. They're going to keep bailing out their friends. And that's reality. So, obviously, like I said, getting robots, I don't have to be like robot police or whatever. I don't think that sentient machines, which is self-thinking, I don't think that would be good for us, the working class. Peace.